we have a game here, Stone Cold, called Start, Bench, Cut, where you got to choose one, you got to bench one, you got to cut one. I've got 3 items for you, and we're gonna run through them if you don't mind playing Start, Bench, Cut with us right here.
I don't mind. Let's see if I got any good answers.
Okay, here we go. Hit the drop right here, please.
It's time. Start now. Bench.
Just sit down and be quiet.
Or cut. Get out.
Stone Cold Steve Austin, Start, Bench, Cut. You got to start one, you got to bench one, you got to cut one. First one is your favorite WWE segment, okay? I've got 3, 4 right here. There's the beer bash, okay, where you drove a beer truck to the ring and you hosed down The Rock, Vince, and Shane McMahon. Number 2 is the grocery store fight with Booker T, where you actually fought him in an aisle of a grocery store.
The whole grocery store.
The whole supermarket.
The whole supermarket.
And then the third one is when you totally assaulted Vince McMahon in a hospital room bed and hit him atop the head with a bedpan where you snuck in full hospital gown and mask
take it from here, nurse.
Your identity. So you have to start one, your favorite one, bench one, which is kind of second place, and cut one. Which one, Stone Cold Steve Austin?
That's really impossiable.
Well, that's the one, I guess. That's the whole idea of the game.
You want to make it easy.
Okay, I gotta. What's my time limit?
You want to phone a friend? You can phone a friend.
All right, man. Every single one of those was a blast. I'm gonna cut Vince McMahon in bedpan.
Oh!
Look at the options you give me. Yeah.
You fought in the supermarket for crying out loud.
Going into, I think that was the go-home promo for WrestleMania 15 against The Rock.
Yep.
Drive that beer truck in there. And then the other one is Raising Hell and whatever town that was at the Green Frog grocery store doing $10,000 with Booker T. It's hard for me to start, cut, or bench anybody.
Right.
I quit.
Wait a second. Stone Cold don't quit.
On this one, I mean, those are such iconic moments for me. It's like I'd be disrespecting, one of the guys by picking one over the other.
Okay.
The beer truck is number one. I mean, come on.
You drove a beer truck.
I'm trying to be humble here.
All right, next one. We'll move on. Here's the next one. Start, bench, cut. I don't know if they get any easier. Start, bench, cut. You have to pick a tag team partner. Wow.
Ooh.
Jim Ross, Paul Heyman, or Vince McMahon?
Gosh, yeah, okay. But I'm going with my guy, Jim Ross. Paul Heyman is so instrumental in my career.
Yes.
If it wasn't for any of these men here,
yes,
I wouldn't be here. So I love them all. And Vince McMahon would never hear me say that in a million years. But I'm going to go with Jim Ross on this because he was there when I had my neck surgery. He was there to reunite myself with the company when I had parted ways due to some bad booking decisions, in my opinion. So I'm going with Jim Ross.
Okay, what are you're going to bench and cut?
Okay, hell yeah. Put him back up there.
Put him back up there. Bench.
Hitting the many steel chairs. All right, I'm gonna bench Paul, and I'm gonna cut Vince. And that's the bottom line because I said so. What else you got?
Last one, Steve. I don't know. This may be the toughest one of them all. And I apologize in advance. Start, bench, cut. Your drink of choice, beer, whiskey, or tequila?
Man, boy, I tell you what. You guys ain't pulling no punches on this show. All right. I'm gonna cut the whiskey.
Okay.
Cut the whiskey. I'm gonna bench the tequila. We can always bring it back in rotation.
Yes.
And I'm starting the beer.
Hey.
It's
Broken skull.
It's called promoting. You see, you will never miss an opportunity to promote. There you go.
Yeah.
There it is right in front of you.
We're releasing this. I'm fixing to leave here.
You flip me one. I'll do it.
Yeah. I'm leaving here to go
nice
right to the brewery because we got
it's geographically sound, right?
Yeah, geographically sound.
You got a meet and greet over there, right?
So yesterday I was down there pre-signing some stuff and had a couple. And then like today I'll have a couple because, it's the thing to do, to party with the people that we're doing a release party with.
Sure.
But then it'll be back to hardcore training for WrestleMania 38 because, I got a can of whoop ass. It might be the last can I have in me, but I've got one last can for Kevin Owens, and I'm going to give it to him
I like it.
Fine fashion.
I like it. No, get up. Cheers, sir.
Cheers.
Okay, here we go.
Steve, we
sharing
were
a beer.
watching that promo with
Cheers.
Coach.
Here you go.
The
Well, you
one
got to
that-
drink up. I got to. Okay.
The one with Coach where it was kind of the height of the what era, too, where you're
That
just
is
like,
good.
more beer, what? More beer, what? Some tequila, what? Whiskey, what? Just kind of got us fired
Coach
up
is
for
awesome
today.
because I was always trying to bust him. You know,
He's trying not to laugh
I
the
know.
whole time.
I damn near had him a couple times, but he's such a pro. He was awesome.
This is really good.
Yeah.
Hey, man, it's good.
Congratulations.
You know, like the IPA, you know, I was real
Cheers, TJ.
specific on that
Yes, sir.
because, you know, I like something a little bit more mid-palate. I don't want it to linger too long. I don't want to be too bitter. That beer was built specifically for me, and it's awesome. This awesome beer, but, you know, in a beer like this, you just want something you just drink a bunch of. And this is that damn beer. I mean, because you can't drink a whole bunch of those IPAs. I mean, you can and I can, but I mean, it's not advisable.
Yeah,
Just to go drink 10
not
of them.
recommended.
But you can drink 10 of these.
Yeah.
That was an epic start bench cut, by the way. Good,
That was
good job,
fantastic.
TJ.
Well
TJ
done.
came up with all
All
those ones. I can't take any credit for that.
I kind of crapped the bed on the first three,
Well,
but
I mean,
yeah, I
no,
made
no,
it
no.
up
Well,
for
I
it.
mean, look, those are three of your more iconic moments. We didn't even include, obviously, you delivering the line that causes today to be Steve Austin Day.
Yeah.
But those are pretty epic.
Yeah,
I mean,
who helped come up with the belt, Steve? The Stone Cold belt.
Hey, man, that's a great question because I was, you know, hanging around before shows. We're always kind of kicking it, killing time. People wonder how you kill time. It's telling stories. A lot of guys played cards. A lot of times I'd be hanging out with Bubba Ray or Chris Jericho talking rock and roll. But at this point in time, I was hanging out with the Road Warriors and Animal and Hawk. And they were sitting there and I said, God dang, I was really starting to catch on fire. And the big thing back in the day, you know, if someone really blew the roof off the joint, you say, oh, man, that was a Road Warrior pop. So the Road Warriors are really over, right? And they said, Steve, they said, you ought to have your own belt. You ought to have the Stone Cold belt. And I guess I ran that by Vince, but it was the Road Warriors' idea to come up with that belt, and we did.
whose idea was it to hit him with a bedpan? Was that just you saw it?
No, that was Vince's idea.
Vince said, hit me with a bedpan.
Oh, yeah. Well, man,
Wow.
that segment is so much gold in that. Me and Mick Foley are in this tiny closet while Vince is doing his stuff, and he breaks out Mr. Sacco and says that's about to be his new finish maneuver. And we're in there like two big-ass guys in a little bitty room just laughing our asses off. And they said, hey, man, you guys got to keep it down while Vince is doing his stuff. And so when I found out I was going to hit him with that, that thing is stainless steel. And so I'm bouncing it off my head, trying to get the right acoustics and try to find that sweet spot. Because, when your boss says you got to lay me out, he's already laid out. But when you got to hit somebody with a bedpan and you're in the middle of a hot angle, you don't want to just go dink. You got to rear back and bring it. So I just found the sweet spot on my head, and then on the fly, I'm an expert at hitting people with certain objects. Yeah, and so it worked out great, and people still talk about that moment.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.